All right, we back. Row 26. We took a week off. Nice to see you, kids, fellas, gamers, Hotz. It's always a pleasure. Donnie, it's good to see you, bro. How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm good, bro. How are you? Happy fucking Father's Day weekend, all the dads out there. Happy U.S. Open weekend.
Yep.
Fucking happy regular weekend.
Day, happy military parade, totalitarianism day. Happy happy NBA Finals, Stanley Cup weekend as well, and we can kick it off there, bro. I really want to talk about this Stanley Cup. You saw where my head was when I put up the our fucking the picture for today for our cover. But bro, 3 games out of 4 overtime games, just unbelievable hockey, highest level. The first thing I wanted to talk about was the quality of hockey versus the quality of basketball and what we're seeing from each of these sports. And it feels like a lot of the basketball is a little watered down nowadays, and I feel like the hockey is like at an all-time high. What are your thoughts on that? I'll park it there, but that was something I was like kind of sitting on and thinking about, actually watching the most recent Stanley Cup game and then watching the finals last night as well.
Well, we can hit the ball back and forth, but I do think that as great as the hockey has been, 3 overtime games out of 4, spectacular matchup, everything is kind of spoon-fed to you in the hockey, where even like non-hockey fans can ingest it pretty easily because it's a rematch. It's clearly the 2 best teams. It's a clash of styles. It's a tie series. It's very, like I said, easily digestible by any sports fan or any fan of competition in general. I feel like it's almost like watching Phelps at the fucking Olympics. Like, I might never watch swimming again. Like, if you never watch hockey again, you should watch the last 2 or 3 games of this series. Like, this is the hockey to watch. This is 2 teams that are at the pinnacle of the sport, 2 teams that are never out of a game. And, you know, as much as I love the Panthers and their team and what they've built in terms of roster construction, the guys on the team, the Oilers didn't quit. And, I got a lot of takes on it. But, all that being said, I do think that NBA Finals is getting a little bit of disrespect. The first game, insane comeback, and then, a last-second buzzer beater to win the game in the finals. The second game was, one-sided. The third game was back and forth. Pacers had decent control, but it wasn't a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. And even though game 2, I'm saying, was one-sided, they won by 16, and we've seen the Pacers come back by 16, fucking half the games they won in the playoffs? This last game, OKC was down.
This was the best game.
OKC was down double digits, fought back, took the lead. Pacers fought back, took the lead again. This back and forth fourth quarter. This has been a really good series. I'll let you expand on your thoughts. Why you think it's watered down?
Yeah, I'm more talking about the product itself versus like the competition between the 2 teams and what's going back and forth. Like the style of basketball, what they're calling against certain teams and certain players in terms of the way the refs are even calling the games, the way the game is played nowadays. It just feels like every possession there's a travel or a double dribble or something. I'm more talking about, like, in hockey, it feels like it's just what it is. Similar to football in a way. Like, it's just what it is. You got to line up. You got to put the puck in behind that. You got to stop the puck. You got to be physical. You got to set the tone. You got to set your presence, whatever it might be. In basketball, it feels like a lot of guys like Halliburton are able to survive in this NBA because of the watered-down product as a whole of what we're watching. And that's why I'm sure a lot of Knicks fans are even sitting back thinking, like, we could have beat this OKC team when they looked so dominant during the regular season, 68 wins. But it's like they're kind of playing in the mud with this Pacers team that doesn't even have a superstar. And it's like, I respect the Carlisle, respect to the Pacers team being very good from a 10-man deep from that perspective, obviously. But I'm more talking about, like, it's like the stuff they get away with nowadays, which promotes this style of basketball, which is like skirting the rules and, the push-offs by Shai in some of those games and some of those plays yesterday were a little bit more than usual than what he gets away with. And we can go back and forth on that because obviously Neesmith and all those guys are fouling and not playing straight up defense. They're grabbing. And I think one time Mathurin tackled Shai on a fucking play. It was like the craziest thing I've ever seen on a defensive play. And he was like arguing it. It's like stupid shit. So I'm more talking about the product itself feels a little watered down versus like the idea that it's not competitive between OKC and Indiana, which I agree with.
Well, I think my take on it is that like the Pacers are an incredibly good team that like everyone's like, oh, they're playing in the mud with this Pacers team, with this. The Pacers, after the Thunder, had the best record since January 1st in the NBA. Not just in the East or in the West. In the NBA, they were the number 2 team since January 1st. They started off slow, so their record isn't super great. But they beat the Knicks in 6 fucking games. I know game 1 happened and they came back, but it's not like the Knicks pushed them to 7, and they had the Knicks giving up in game 6. It was over, and they beat the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference, maybe the best record in the NBA, if I'm not mistaken, in the Cleveland Cavaliers.
The Thunder had more wins, but the best team in the East by far, for sure.
So they had, 6. That was another 6-game series. They didn't even get to game 7 against them.
But we've known that Cleveland is a little fraudulent, and the Knicks even beat Cleveland a year ago with the same roster. I think DeAndre Hunter was the only difference, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, the Cleveland was a little banged up, but my point being is like the Knicks fans being like, we could beat this Thunder team. You didn't even beat this Pacers team. Like, you didn't get to game 7 against this Pacers team. So you're going to sit there and like point the finger like, we're way better.
Talk about taking games. I think a lot of Knicks fans think they were going to get swept by the Thunder. Like it would have been a walk in the park. But now you're like watching Indiana take games off them. I think that's the feeling more than like we would beet them versus like it wouldn't be like we'd be underdogs. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm pinpointing that one, like playing in the mud with the Pacers, but it does feel like the Pacers, it seems like people aren't giving them credit as a team, and I think a lot of it stems from like they don't look like the good teams from the last 10 to 15 years. That doesn't mean they're not a good team. That's like saying the Pistons in 04 weren't a good team. That's like saying the Mavericks in 11 aren't a good team. This team is a team. That's what we haven't seen one in a long time, so it looks weird to our eyes.
Yeah.
But this is the pinnacle of what team basketball looks like. People like Halliburton had a quiet
Kawhi. Yeah.
Halliburton has a quiet game. It's not because he's taking 30 shots and missing a ton. His quiet games are like 3 for 8 from the field, and then in the fourth quarter makes a big shot. He's not hurting his team when he doesn't have bad games. He's letting the game come to him. And other guys can step up. Obi Toppin in the first game hit 5 threes.
Yesterday he was great again.
These guys, TJ McConnell, 15 minutes played, 10 points, 5 steals, 5 assists. Like that's the pinnacle of team basketball. And I'll let you say one more thing before I go on a little tangent because I'm like ready to deliver. But my point being is just that like everyone was clamoring, oh, these super teams suck. Everyone just shooting 100 threes a game suck. And then the Pacers come in and do it differently, and we're like, oh, they suck. No, they don't suck. They just have their own brand.
Yeah. I'm not, again, and I just want to go back to my original point. My point has nothing to do with how good I think Indiana and the Thunder are as teams. I'm more just like eyes, like watching basketball, like as a fan of basketball. And based on what I'm watching, it's just annoying being a basketball fan for the last 25 years. Call me what you will, call me this like old school, whatever, and that I need to get with the times. But like watching some of these calls in the NBA finals that they're calling, against Shy, like when he's like double clutching or whatever. I think there was one that off a spin move and it kind of hit his hand on the bottom after the shot was released. It's like we're in the NBA finals. It's like some of the stuff that they're calling, it feels like it's inconsistent in a lot of ways. And it also just feels like the brand of basketball in terms of the style is like Indiana. Like I'll tell you my favorite time of the game, and then I want to leave it with you with the soliloquy. I don't want you to lose your steam. But my favorite like sequence was when Obi hit a 3 in the corner. It was in the second half. Obi hit a 3 in the corner, and then the next possession down, he cut on a drive, and instead of staying in the corner and then jammed it, like he like basically filled the lane instead of just standing in the corner like a lot of guys would nowadays. And that's what you talk about when you say great basketball, Carlisle basketball, just fucking like not being stuck in what you think you are, which is this corner 3 guy maybe, or like this like specialty role. But every guy is, it feels like on these teams, both of these teams, the main trait is that every guy feels emboldened to be their true self, whatever that might be, their full self. And I think that's the best trait that Carlisle and Dagnall have as coaches, is that they get that out of their players versus like what Thibodeau does, which is roll his players. This is your role, this is your role, this is your role, kind of more or less, and I think that's also the brand of basketball that you were speaking on as well, in terms of like why this is a competitive series and why it has been a good series from that perspective, for sure. Competitive.
Yeah, I think they all can hit big shots. We saw Nembhard hit the step back in the first game, and Miles Turner banked the three, and then Siakam get the rebound and put it back up, and then Halliburton make the game winner. It's like we haven't seen that. The NBA has been, LeBron takes over in the fourth quarter, scores 20 points in a row against the Pistons, leading into, I guess the Spurs also had some runs since then too, which were team basketball, but obviously heavily dominated by, Duncan, Ginobili, Parker, kind of like a big three.
Always team basketball though, like guys like Sean Elliott, Bruce Bowen, like these are guys that are reasons they won too, for sure.
But going through the recent past of the Warriors, the Cavs, the Heat, it does seem like everybody just has multiple guys. Celtics to an extent last year too. But it's team basketball. But not labeling all these guys, it got me thinking about T.J. McConnell, because obviously he came from Philly. The Philly fans are talking about it a little bit out here now on the Sports Talk Radio, and so I was like, let me just dive deep into this a little bit. So T.J. McConnell signed with the Sixers in 2015-2016 for the league minimum. That's 1.12.
So he was drafted by them, just to be clear?
I don't know if he was drafted. He might have been an undrafted free agent or something like that.
Saying. And just signed
I think so. A league minimum guy, the least you could possibly make, 4 years, $4.47 million, average $1.12 million a year.
Sounds like a G League contract. Okay, cool.
So in 15-16, he played 81 games, started 15. In 16-17, he played 81 games, started 51. In 17-18, played 76 games, started 1. 18-19, played 76 games, started 3. Minutes per game, he was 19.8, 26.3, 22.4, 19.3. Points per game, 6.1, 6.9, 6.3, 6.4. Assists per game, 4.5, 6.6, 4.0, 3.4. Rebounds per game, 3.1, 3.1, 3.0, 2.3. Steals per game, 1.2, 1.7, 1.2, 1.0. They were 10-72 his first year there. By the year he left, they were 51-31, made the playoffs, conference semifinals.
He was a nuisance against the Knicks on Philly. I remember.
So the highest paid player in the NBA in 15-16 was Kobe Bryant. This one is maybe a little more skewed because of the fact that he was getting paid for stuff he'd accomplished in the past. Still, he's making $22.3 million or 22.3 times what TJ McConnell's making. He's making $25 million a year. He played 28.2 minutes to 19. He scored 17.6 points to 6. He had 2.8 assists versus 4.0 assists. And 3.7 rebounds versus 3.0 rebounds, making 22 times what he's making. Then you have, this is more realistic, LeBron James, 16-17, 30.96 million, 27.6 times what TJ McConnell's making. So 37.8 minutes to 20, so roughly twice as many minutes, a little less. 26.4 points a game to 6.7, which is 4 times as much, not 30 times as much,
I mean, this equatability is a little,
No, but I'm just let me hear me out. 8.7 points a game to 6.7. I mean, 8.7 assists per game to 6.7 assists per game.
Okay.
8.6 rebounds per game to 3.6 rebounds per game. 1.2 steals a game to 1.7 steals a game for McConnell. So, again, making 27.6 times what he's making. And just so you know, I'm not saying these contracts are more valuable than the star players because they can't carry a team. But when you compare them to the top of the league versus the people getting paid what he's making, he's exponentially closer.
I would say, yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think
the other players don't even play. They don't even get in the game.
Yeah, the thing is that the guys, that's the thing. The comparison really that hits home, that would hit home for me, is all the other guys in the league that get paid the exact same amount of money and what they're doing with that money.
So I'm getting there, but I just wanted before you, because I already saw.
I hear what you're saying. That's crazy. The Kobe one is crazy. That's crazy. The LeBron thing, impact on winning. He's 6'9". He's doing things that are outside the score sheet too. Also, if you were to give McConnell all those minutes, to the efficiency rate, things go down, turnovers go up. We don't know things. We don't know things. We don't know things.
Of course, you'd rather have LeBron James under the.
And he's going against backup players.
But I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that bang
devil's
for your
advocate
buck.
for the record.
You're getting literally more steals per game and within 2 assists per game, within 18 points.
Stealing it off of a backup point guard, for theoretically.
But so LeBron James is playing against the backup point guard for times in the game. He's playing 37.8 minutes. You know, he's not just going against the best player on the other team for every single minute he's on the court then. You know what I mean? You can't be like, he's only doing that.
Say, right?
You know? Yeah, the majority, and TJ McConnell's playing half as much time. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, he's playing half the minutes total.
Yeah,
so
I would say TJ's probably like 5 minutes.
You're basically saying, like, if he was playing 40 minutes, he'd have less points. No, he'd have more points, but he wouldn't be as a finisher. Like,
I think if he was more of a keyed-in guy and he was like a 40-minute guy a game versus a 20-minute guy, of those 20 minutes, he's probably facing starters. Maybe it depends if he's trending well and he's playing really well.
The season I'm comparing LeBron James to, he started 51 games that year.
Right.
So
which makes it still legitimate, which means it's either like a short hook thing or I don't know.
He played 27 minutes a game. He played 26 minutes a game.
I was about to say he probably had a little bit more minutes that year because you're starting. You need the more minutes. You're going to start the game for 6 minutes.
But I'm just saying he's playing 26 minutes, so that's even he's playing 2/3 of the minutes. He's getting just 2 less assists. He's getting more steals than LeBron James in fucking 11 minutes a game.
In regards to the gear that he started, the 26 minutes versus the years that you're saying that he had 19 minutes, are the stats different?
He's the same. I read them off before, but he has like the same amount of points, a little less assists, the same amount of rebounds, about the same steals.
They're not going up then, right?
The assist went up significantly.
The assists go up, as I heard 6 a couple of times, even when you said
no. He went 4, 6. He went from assists went 4.5 to 6.6, then 4.0, then 3.4. That was the year he was starting.
Oh yeah. Okay, cool. That's
he's
what I was
making 6. He's getting 6.9, 6.6, 3.1 rebounds, and 1.7 steals, making $1.12 million. You're trying to take away from him. That's insane.
No. I think you're misconstruing what I'm saying. I was just wondering that if when he got the more minutes, did the stats actually go up? That was the first question. And the other thing I was saying was just from a devil's advocate perspective, that if you were to hand him starters minutes, in like what you're saying in comparison to the impact on from contract to impact on winning, like you're saying 26 million to what Kobe's stats are versus 1 million to this guy's stats. Yes, but at the same time, like,
if you gave him more minutes, he would get more. It wouldn't make him farther away from those guys. And he's doing all this in fewer minutes. In fantasy land, he could get more minutes, but in real life, for the contract value.
Right. Like, in terms of contract value, he easily, I think I said this in the chat to you when you wrote it, I was like, could be the best contract in basketball.
Like bang for your buck. There's no better deal.
I don't even think that's an argument. He's easily in the conversation. But based on what you just read in terms of stats, from a 20-minute to 26-minute
perspective. Like, you're just saying you're playing devil's advocate. There's no devil's advocate to play. It's an unbelievable.
For that conversation, there is no devil's advocate. In regards to the impact,
minimum
dollars to winning.
From a league minimum contract to get someone playing 20 minutes a game, getting 6 points.
When I was devil's advocate,
you know, like,
I was more talking about the idea that his stats would fly up just because he went to 40 minutes.
But I never was saying. I was just saying this player makes 30 times what he makes, and
that perspective is correct.
And contributes 3 times as much.
Yeah,
you know, if you really break it all down.
He was getting paid $3 million a year, John. Forget $1 million, whatever you said there. If it was $3 million a year, his contract is still absurd.
So what leads me to my next point is that the Sixers let him walk out the door to the Pacers for a 2-year, $7 million contract. Then the Pacers let him play that one out, re-signed him again for about 4 years, 38. After 3 years of that, they gave him more money because they didn't even want him to hit the open market, which is just the difference between a championship quality make the finals franchise and a franchise that can't get past the second round of the playoffs. Those things. We always talk about guys on the court not being able to perform. Maybe the Joel Embiid falling short when it comes to being in the playoffs. When in reality, it has a lot more to do with the general manager, the owner, the coach, getting what they can from the players, and the organization having the culture to cultivate one of winning.
I agree.
I think that this, Pacers team is the ultimate,
find value, the highest value in contracts. Yeah.
So, and then just to get back to it, There's 10 players on a minimum contract in the NBA right now. Do you think you can name any of them?
Is one of them on OKC, like Wiggins or something?
There's one on OKC, but I don't think you know who he is. If you want to try.
Oh, Isaiah Joe? I don't know.
No, not Isaiah Joe. There's one you know. There's two that you probably know. Okay. One of them not because he's good.
Okay. League minimums. So these are guys that are veterans who are.
Yeah, not the veteran minimum. This is the absolute league minimum. Not
be a rookie is what you're saying too.
Yes, yeah, they're all young.
That's a whole other layer of conversation. Yeah, I thought.
Yeah, that was TJ McConnell's first contract. That $1.12 million. That wasn't a league minimum. That was that wasn't a veteran minimum exemption. It's the league minimum contract. That's what I'm saying. Like, all right. So of these guys, you're not going to know.
Read them out. It's
Brandon Carlson.
I don't know.
He's played 32 out of 82 games. In the games he played, 3.8 points, 1.7 rebounds, 0.4 assists, and that's because he's on the Thunder getting garbage time minutes. On most teams, he would never play.
He's a nothing. That's a 0. Okay.
All right, the second guy, Ariel Hukporti. He plays on the Knicks.
On the Knicks.
25 games played, 1.9 points in those games, 2.0 rebounds, 0.4 assists.
Doesn't play. Yeah, Tibbs should have figured out a way to use him. He was actually pretty talented. Go ahead.
Yeah, 25 games played all year. So far, and remember, TJ McConnell played 81, 81, 79, and 79 over a 4-season span. Next up is Tyler Smith for the Milwaukee Bucks. Played 23 of 82 games, 2.9 points, 1.1 rebounds, 0.2 assists. Next up.
This season, and TJ's not on a minimum this season, right?
No. This is just all the guys compared to that.
Look at when TJ was on the minimum, even too.
That's what I did. That's what I was reading off when he was on the minimum. That was what I was reading. Those are the stats I was reading off. 15, 16, 16, 17, 17, 18, 19.
I'm saying that you should read off when he was on a minimum back then. I'm saying like all the other players that were on minimums during like 15, 16 or whatever the fuck. Like
that's like a lot of research. I could figure this season.
Yeah. I'm not saying you do it. I'm saying like conceptually, like I bet you it's
pretty sure conceptually
this is Hakaporti or whatever.
There were conceptually, like it would be very similar.
I'm saying it's going to hit the impact even harder on your point that like even back then when he was on the minimum, legitimately, all the other guys in the league that were on the minimum were probably doing exactly what Hakaporti was doing, which is like 1 point.
That's what I'm saying. I thought any knowledgeable sports fan would know.
I'm just for their viewership here. I'm putting 2 and 2 together. Like no matter that what's his name? Excuse me.
It doesn't matter. This is 10 seasons on the league minimum contract. The 10 players now. Doesn't matter if it's 15, 16 or now.
You're never going to find a TJ McConnell for $1 million, what he was doing on Philadelphia in any year.
Well, I wouldn't say never, but I'm just going over
rare. It's rare.
So
there's nobody in the league right now doing that.
So far, well, we'll see. So far, let it play out.
All right. Okay.
So far,
my guess.
So far, we have Hukporti, Tyler Smith, Brandon Carlson, all nothings. Next up is Pelle Larsson. This is the first guy who's even like a slight contributor. 55 games played, so still missed 3 of 1 out of every 4 games. 4.6. He plays for the Miami Heat. 4.6 points, 1.7 rebounds, 1.2 assists.
I'm throwing that to injuries too. That team was banged up all year. Fuck that. And Jimmy got traded. Fuck that.
This one is Oso Ighodaro. He plays for the Suns. 61 games, 4.2, 3.6, 1.2. That's probably the best one so far, but still missed 3 out of 4 games. This is the guy who stands out. He's someone you might know if you watch a lot of basketball. Jalen Wells on the Grizzlies.
Sure.
10 points, 3 rebounds, 1.7 assists.
Like
played in 79 games and started, I want to say 71.
So this should be your point. That guy right there is a guy that someone should go find and figure out a way to get them onto their team for the Knicks to go get a guy like him who's giving you high value in his specific minutes for no cost. Bang.
And he was an all-rookie performer this year, so that's the one guy.
That's a guy that's on a TJ McConnell path.
And then you got Bronny James, played 27 games, 2.3 points, 0.7 rebounds, 0.8 assists. Then you have Antonio Reeves. He played 44 games, did contribute in those pretty well. 6.9 points, 1.4 rebounds, 0.9 assists. not McConnell level, but and then you have Adam Bona, who played for the Sixers, 5.8 points, 4.2 rebounds, 0.5 assists, played in 58 games. So there was one guy, Jalen Wells, who I did know about before. I didn't know he was on a minimum contract. When I saw that, I was surprised. I know who Jalen Wells is. He's a pretty good player.
He's a good player.
But other than that, for the most part, 9 out of 10 were nothings. You know.
And let's see if Jalen Wells.
I think Jalen Wells will probably get a new contract soon.
Yeah,
I don't think he'll play 4 years.
Watch the trajectory of Jalen Wells' career now because of this conversation, and we're gonna watch him do exactly probably what TJ does, where he's gonna ride out this regular.
I don't even think that Memphis will make him do that. Like TJ McConnell, I think probably just kept his head down, accepted it. Like when he started 51 games his second year, they should have given him a contract right then.
Yeah. What are you looking at?
The fact that the Sixers.
Yeah,
like the fact the Sixers made him play 2 more years after he started 51 games, played 81.
About the playoffs, bro. How impactful was he on the playoffs and the Philly games and all that shit? He was making the Knicks fucking crazy, dude.
Well, like I said, he started the first year he was there. They were 10-72, probably the worst team in basketball. And by his last year there, they were in the conference semifinals. They made the playoffs and won a playoff series.
They were a bounce Kawhi shot away from going to the fucking.
I think that was the next year.
The TJ wasn't on that?
Oh, no, that was that year. Sorry, 18-19.
That was that year, right? They were literally like a bounce Kawhi Game 7 shot away from going to the Eastern Conference Finals or the NBA Finals. One of those two.
The Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, they haven't made the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, in a long time. Yeah.
And you beat that Toronto team. That's.
Yeah, then they would have to play.
That was a fucking dog, bro. You don't gotta tell me I fucking hate that guy. I'm a Knicks fan.
Yeah, but just the fact, like I said, I think his 4 years on a minimum contract, because like I said, it wasn't even just like they never paid him, and he sat there and he ate it for 4 years, and they still wouldn't even give him the 2 years, $7 million, is crazy. And now the Pacers, shout out to the Pacers mainly, are in the finals, and he's getting good minutes contributing.
Pritchard, I think his name is Pritchard, is the GM. Pretty sure Kevin Pritchard, I think his name is the GM of the Indiana Pacers. Shouts to Kevin Pritchard for knowing how to find value in contracts, finding guys like Nembhard, getting value in Siakam contracts, you know?
And that's what I was saying. I brought up those other guys to be like, he's closer to these guys making more money in the league than these guys getting paid the same amount of money as him. Like,
that's
why I brought
that is no question. Yeah.
Like, not to say like
that's like a psycho comment, but like it is so true.
Yeah, like he's closer to the other guys.
Like same thing with Wells. Wells is closer to John Morant than he is to like a nothing in the league, and he's getting paid nothing. Like,
and he's getting paid the lowest you could possibly make. It's crazy.
Wow, I love it.
Yeah. So, who do you think wins the series? And then we can get into the Hotz corner.
I don't know. I mean, it's just it's so refs based. I feel like too. Like I think Shai had like 12 free throws in the fourth quarter. On everything. I don't know. I'm
sick. I'm a little sick of the ref pitching. I'll be honest.
I know.
It's not the most entertaining product in the world, but I don't think there's any sort of favoritism going on. I think
no, I don't see favoritism necessarily. I just hate the calls, like the literal calls themselves. I hate them.
I thought Indiana and the Knicks was pretty physical, and they let them get away with it.
They let them play because the Knicks style and the Indiana style is rough and tundra, but it's like with these other teams, their style's not that, so the refs have to call it a certain way. It's like, I don't know. But aside from all of that,
I also think it stands out a lot more when it's like Turner versus Holmgren, who's like 30 pounds lighter than him. Totally. And it's like Turner versus
like Smith went across both of Holmgren's arms, and people think that's a clean steal. Like when he went up and turned, like, fuck, dude, like that's not basketball. And like
there's other big guys though, and like the fouls get called less. But I think when you're skinny like that, you get more calls, like just because it looks very much like your body flailing, and it's not even like I don't even think Chet's really, how do you say, like flopping. I just think he's that small, and I think that like if anything, he'd benefit from not flopping and like looking tougher. I think. Like it'd be more beneficial for him to take shots and withstand them.
He's a big player. A lot of his putbacks kept a lot of this game alive. You know, those possessions where they were like shooting jump shots and Shai wasn't hitting. You know, towards the first half of the fourth quarter and like the end of the third, and Chet's kind of keeping the minute with these offensive rebounds. So, you know, if he's doing that and Jalen Williams is doing what he did last game, which was very impressive. His scoring last game was the best game I've seen him score in actually all playoffs. Like just watching him, like he's when he's on, he's doing those scoop layups and he's really just cooking. He makes that team he gives that team a whole different dimension. So I'm going to give the edge to OKC. I'm going to say they're winning 7 games. And I'll just say it just basically strictly because of the home court, like straight up and down. That's it.
I like that.
I don't even see a big difference.
You got Thunder and 7.
Thunder and 7. I don't see a big difference between these two teams. They're both well balanced, both well coached. It's tough. It's game to game, very much so.
All right, I like it. It's tough. It's tough to say. The Pacers have been really good on the road, but I think I'm going to go Thunder in 6. I think this last win where they had to overcome the adversity and win and not just cruise and route. And obviously, I think the Nuggets series, they were down 2-1 in that series too. They came back 1-7.
And they were losing that game 4. Yeah.
Yeah, they've been through a little bit now. Yeah, they were losing game 4 in that series too. Exactly.
Right.
Maybe they win in 6, maybe they win in 7, but I do think that was like the important game for them where, all right, everything's not going our way. We are down going into the 4th, double digits. We got to make something happen, and they did. And I think that shows that they could win it. And Stanley Cup Finals, I would be shocked if this doesn't go 7. I guess the only question I'd have for you, and then you give a prediction after you answer it, is do Edmonton pull Skinner and start Picard, or do they roll with Skinner?
No, I think you go back to Skinner, short leash, and same thing. I think you keep the strat. I think that you get out of rhythm when you do it the other way, and that could be the way you walk yourself into a six goal game or some shit against a team like Florida. So I feel like if you just start fucking with it and you don't just go back to the well, it's like the same thing that Tibbs did, right? Game 1, they dominated Indiana. Then in game 3, your bench saves you because of foul trouble. And then in game 4, you're fucking with all the lineups. You don't know what you're doing, the lineups. And then all of a sudden, Mitchell doesn't play the whole 4th quarter, and you're in the media. So it's like, you got to go back to the well. You got to go back to what got you there. You got to go back to what works, and that's Skinner. And if he gives up early goals again, then you do exactly the same thing. You say, all right, bro, all right, veteran who's veteran backup in the league, come in again. Come rescue us again. No pressure. We're losing by 3. Just make some stops. Give us a chance. So.
Yeah, no, I think that backup goalie trick kind of it's almost like a one-trick pony because you put him in and then you get a little lift and then the player's oh shit, this guy's not quite as good. We got to play a little better defense.
Totally.
And don't get me wrong, Picard made some big saves. That one in overtime on Bennett was crazy. Where he deflected it and then it went off the post. But it's tough to kind of catch that lightning in a bottle again. So I agree with you. I think they have to
ruining Skinner. I feel like if you do that too, you're eliminating a goalie there.
Well, Skinner kind of stinks, dude.
Yeah,
he's above average. He's above average.
He's not a Bob,
he's an above average goalie. He's not anything crazy. All right, but we'll get into the Hotz corner.
Fuck yeah.
Hang on 1 second. All right. Who is the greatest right-handed?
Hang on. I gotta let my joint again, Don. You're jumping right in, man. You need to give the people a chance. Light your joint. Sip your coffee.
My wants for dinner. Fucking bitch. You wait till after we do the Hotz corner.
Don't worry, Maya. We're only 25 minutes out or so.
Dude, you're eating that food anyway. You're a good girl, Maya.
30 minutes, and then it's dinner time, babe. Dinner time, babe.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, good. All right, hit it.
Who's the greatest right-handed hitter of our lifetimes?
Of our lifetime, right-handed hitter, I would say.
Basically, no Barry Bonds.
Right. Because he's the left. I'm gonna go A-Rod.
A-Rod, all right. Chili's or Applebee's?
Chili's.
Who is your favorite player currently playing in the Stanley Cup Finals?
Ooh. That's close. Bobrovsky, I do love. I got to go with Connor McDavid. Watching him is a pleasure.
All right.
Chalk, but whatever.
No, you're good. The Mask or Ace Ventura Pet Detective?
Wow. The Mask had Cameron Diaz, right?
Yes. Good call.
Bro. Oh, man. Both lore. And then Ace Ventura has Dan Marino. This whole thing is crazy. I'm going to go with, and Courtney Cox. Ace Ventura, I'm going to go with. Yeah, Ace Ventura.
Okay.
Good question.
Well,
that's a good one.
I don't know if he's in the I guess I'll just give you the whole franchise for Ace Ventura because I'm not.
Because Freddie got in the second one, and so is Dan. Is that the second one?
Yeah, I think that's the second one, but I could be wrong too. So let me just not say anything.
I'm gonna go with Ace Ventura either way, though.
Okay. Yeah. Who is your favorite player currently in the NBA Finals?
I'm not a huge fan of anyone, but if I had to pick somebody, I'll go with Isaiah Hartenstein.
All right. The Wire or Sopranos?
I'm going with rewatch and like the ability to rewatch it over and over. I'm going to go with Sopranos.
All right. Who is your favorite boxer of all time?
Couple guys. I always loved Lennox Lewis growing up. I had this boxing game. I always used him. He was so much fun to use. So Lennox Lewis for sure. I'll just land on Lennox Lewis.
All right. Better musical duo: Mobb Deep with Havoc and Prodigy, or Simon and Garfunkel? Like a bridge over troubled water.
Yeah, Paul Simon is like absolutely goated. I mean, to say Paul Simon's the one here of everyone, but the whole Garfunkel, like,
yeah, even the name is like Garfunkel. It's like we could talk about it later.
It's not renowned. It's the Paul Simon name. Paul Simon's the real writer there, obviously, the main guy. Oh man, that's a really good question. Tough, different, really random. I'm gonna go with Mobb Deep, just because of the first album. It's just too lore for me.
Who is going to win the U.S. Open?
I'm going to go with the veteran that's hanging around that is closest, and that's Victor Hovland.
Ooh, Victor Hovland. I like that answer.
He's the only guy that I saw on the leaderboard earlier that has experience on Sunday, like really putting it together and getting something done. So, and he's never had a major, I don't think. I think he's still seeking one. I think this could be his shot if stars align because it's nasty out there. And he's a good, nasty weather golfer.
All right. Adam Sandler or Chris Farley?
I'm too young for Chris Farley, so I'll say Adam Sandler.
Damn. Adam Sandler.
R.I.P. Chris Farley, the GOAT. Probably, Adam Sandler would say, you can't say me without saying Chris Farley, so that's the irony of this conversation probably, but that's okay.
All right, here's a trivia.
All right, let's get it.
So this is a homegrown research.
Oh man, I love it.
I'm calling it like he played there, or like he played there. Maybe it would be better.
Okay.
So I'm gonna name a player. They at least went to the 5 Pro Bowlers or in the Hall of Fame. They're high elite caliber players.
Okay.
They're most known for one team, but they played on other teams too. I'm gonna kind of go like by the position, like difficulty, like. You'll get the hang of it. Okay. So I only have one D-back.
What's my goal though? What is my goal though? Am I naming the team that they were on majority of the time?
I'm gonna give you the team that they were on the majority of the time. You have to get the other team.
Oh. Okay. This is sick. All right. Cool.
Okay. So Champ Bailey played 15 seasons. He played 10 of them with Denver. What other team did he play for? 5 seasons, made 4 Pro Bowls.
Redskins?
Yes, correct. That was easy. Like, it's going to get harder.
Thank you for the entryway. Good.
Okay. I don't know if I don't think I'm going to give you the season. I'm going to get away from the seasons and Pro Bowls and stuff. I think that might make it a little easier. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. If you need hints.
Well, cluing me in like that, I think, I don't know if that helps or hurts, but it definitely is an add-on for some guys probably.
Okay. All right. So these are the QBs. I'm going to go in order of how hard I think they are.
Okay.
So Montana played 15 seasons. He played he played 13 for the 49ers. He played 2 for this other team.
I know this too. Oh, the Chiefs.
Correct. Good job.
Okay.
Steve Young played 15 seasons. 13 for the 49ers and 2 for this other team.
I don't know.
It's like I said, it's going to get harder. Like this
one's hard.
I'll give you. I think this one is very good. I'll tell you, I had all these. I researched them because I was like, that's a name that I know played on 2 teams. Like I had all these, except for one. When I went to research, I found a team that I didn't know.
Miami?
Good guess. Close. Not close in a geographical sense.
Jackson? No. Tampa? No.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. Fuck. It was something in Florida. I don't know why.
It was Tampa Bay before the 49ers, so it's a little trickier.
Ooh.
And this is the hardest one. He played on 3 teams. But I think you should get this one. It's hard, but I think you should get it.
Okay.
This guy played on, Donovan McNabb played 13 seasons, 11 with Philly, 1 with one team and 1 with another team.
Washington's one for sure.
Correct.
The other one that he played for. Not Atlanta. Not Pittsburgh. I played for Washington. I remember seeing him in another jersey. What jersey is that? Not Minnesota. I think it was those colors.
NFC.
Yeah, I'm on the NFC side. I'm in that world. Detroit, Packers, Minnesota, and then the Niners, Seattle. Niners, Seattle, Rams, no. And then, what's in that division? Okay, Niners, Seattle, Rams. Who am I missing in that division?
It's not NFC West. It's NFC North.
NFC North? Oh, I don't know then.
It's the Vikings.
It was Minnesota?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I was all around that world of thinking it.
All right.
Crazy.
All right, we're going into the world of running backs. These are
cool.
These are a little easier, I think.
All right.
All right. Marshall Faulk played 12 seasons, 7 for the Rams. Who did he play all other 5 seasons?
That was with the Colts.
Correct. Jerome Bettis played 13 seasons, 10 with the Steelers and 3 with this other team.
Raiders?
No. He played there for 3 seasons, went to 2 Pro Bowls.
Really?
He was a Rookie of the Year. He was there before the Steelers.
Oh, Denver came to mind too, and then Miami came to mind. Those are the only teams I had in my head. I got nothing.
No. The Rams.
Rams. Wow. You got drafted by the Rams.
You could probably picture him there, with the Rams.
Kinda.
Yeah. He won Rookie of the Year there.
That's crazy. Wow.
All right. Like I said, went to 2 Pro Bowls there. All right. Like I said, it's getting harder, but then again, I'm thinking about the timeline, and Curtis Martin played 11 seasons. He played 8 for the Jets and 3 for this other team. It was before again.
Yeah.
Made 2 Pro Bowls.
Was the Colts?
Mm-mm. That was Marshall Faulk. Similar kind of career development, but not quite as many years there.
Curtis Martin.
AFC. Same division.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Is it Miami?
Nah.
Is Buffalo?
No, it's Patriots.
New England?
It's the last one left.
Wow.
Yeah, Patriots. All right.
I was thinking AFC, but I couldn't get anything.
Emmitt Smith played 15 years, 13 with the Cowboys and 2 for this other team. This I thought was the hardest.
Emmitt Smith. Arizona?
Yes. Cardinals, correct.
Jeez.
So now I'm starting to realize that even if they had success earlier, it's easier just to remember what's more recent.
Especially if they're a world-renowned player like Emmitt Smith, that guy is
like I said, every single one of those guys are in the Hall of Fame.
You think about Emmitt Smith, I think about leaving little giants like Curtis Martin, great Hall of Famer, but it's still or Jerome Bettis, that's very intricate for me. And Jerome Bettis,
like I said, these are all every single player I've named so far is in the Hall of Fame.
Pantheon, Jerome Bettis versus Emmitt Smith. For me, there's no way.
I'm just saying he's pretty notable.
For you,
you're saying
all that stuff falls in the same bucket, but for someone like me, like
you're saying like Little Giants, like he definitely is like
I don't
a
know why.
pop culture.
Reference points though. Even I'm just thinking like Emmitt Smith is like lore versus.
There's a chance that Jerome Bettis is also in Little Giants. Like I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, like during the signing with Bruce Smith and everyone. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
All right, that's the running backs. Wide receivers, I got Isaac Bruce, 16 seasons, 14 for the Rams.
No chance. Give me a second. Ravens?
No. It was after the 49ers, too. I feel like you could find it in your mind's eye.
After the Rams, you said?
After the Rams. He played 14 seasons with the Rams, 2 for this other team.
Was it the Niners?
It is the Niners.
It is the Niners.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Jerry Rice played 16 seasons for the 49ers.
Yeah.
3.5 for one team. That one you should definitely get. And then half a season for this other team.
Oakland and the half a season one is the question.
Yeah, Oakland is the easy one there.
Yeah. We went to the Super Bowl with Tim Brown. Jerry. Where did you play for half a season? What? Seattle. That's it.
Yes, correct. Good pull. Ocho Cinco
I feel
played.
like Tavares Jackson threw him a ball. I don't know why.
Maybe. Ocho
Something
Cinco.
like
I think it's a little early for Tavares, but you might be right. Ocho Cinco played 12 seasons, 11 for the Bengals, and 1 for this other team.
New England.
Yes, correct. Torrey Holt played 11 seasons, 10 for St. Louis, and 1 for this other team.
The Cardinals?
No.
The only other guess that I have for Holt that came to my brain immediately was the Colts.
Nah, Jacksonville.
Nah, I'll never get that. That's crazy.
I have a couple more, but I don't have the seasons written down. But I have the teams. Do you want to keep going, or I have another category, or we can keep going?
This is fun. I like this too.
Okay, all right. I don't have the seasons broken down in front of me, but I'll try to get. I could probably look it up quick.
Okay.
Chris Carter played primarily for the Vikings, but played for these 2 other teams. One of them was definitely more like a significant. Like one of them I knew, one of them I didn't. And for the record, he played 16 seasons. He played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 for the Vikings. 3 for the one that I knew, and 1 for the one that I didn't.
Damn. I don't know this.
He had like cocaine issues with this team before he went to Minnesota. Was pretty good player there, but not great because he was working through his shit.
Rams?
No. It's the Eagles. Before he went to Minnesota, he was an Eagle. Kelly Green, 80. That one I knew, and he finished his career playing 1 year with Miami, but he only had like 8 catches.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that would have been a crazy pull.
Yeah, Miami with Jay Fiedler feels right. I thought something like that. I don't know why.
Ed Reed played primarily for Baltimore and also played with 2 other teams. Name them.
Did? Miami?
No.
Ed Reed played for someone else besides Baltimore. What the fuck? So hard.
He played a half a season with each of them.
Houston?
Yes. Houston is one of them.
Where the fuck did that just come from? That was a shooting star in my
That's
head.
the one that I knew this one, but I knew because I knew he went from 2 teams for 1 year after.
Is the Niners another?
Nah.
I don't think I have the other. And Seattle is, I guess, my last guess.
Nah, the Jets was the other one.
Oh, yeah. Holy
I thought you might have got that one. Gerald McCoy played primarily for Tampa.
There is no way.
Again, all these guys, my minimum was 5 Pro Bowls, and there's Gerald McCoy is probably more like 8.
Damn, Gerald McCoy's going to push the hall, you think? Damn.
Yeah, I think so. Julian Peterson, yay or nay?
From the Niners? Yeah.
Yeah, primarily the Niners, played on 2 other teams.
Colts?
No. He was good on the first other. Yes, that's the one I would say that he was still good on Seattle.
Yeah. I don't know.
He made 3 Pro Bowls in Seattle. He was still good. And then there was one more
linebacker. I remember Shockey and him had a thing. I remember that when he was on the Niners.
He was a great coverage linebacker. Yeah. One of the best I've ever seen. Could play that Tampa 2. Get the middle of the field.
Yeah. I remember him covering Shockey down the field and Shockey deliberately trying to run him over instead of score a touchdown, and he got stopped by Julian Peterson at 5-yard line and Giant Pin went crazy.
He played the last 2 seasons on an NFC North team. You have a 25% chance. What?
Minnesota?
No, not Minnesota. Detroit.
Yeah, no. I would never got that.
And then Zach Thomas played primarily in Miami, played 1 year with this other team. I knew the defensive players would be harder. Hall of Fame player, obviously.
Yeah. Zach's the man. 54, number 54, I believe.
Yes, played 12 seasons for Dallas, played his final year with this team. Started 14 games. Made 94, not Baltimore, made 94 tackles.
Jets?
No, not the Jets.
I don't know.
Cowboys.
Wow, that's right.
2008 for the Cowboys. Played well. Had a good season.
That's a cool team. 2008, I'm sure. That roster is probably cool, the Cowboys.
All right, I got 3 more. Jeff Saturday. I think this one you should get. Jeff Saturday played primarily for the Colts, played for this other team. But still good.
Packers.
Yes, correct. Warren Sapp played primarily for Tampa, played for this other team. Also, I'd say still good.
Raiders.
Correct. Richard Seymour played primarily for the Patriots and one other team. Also, still good.
Richard Seymour played primarily for the Patriots?
Yeah, Richard Seymour won Super Bowl there.
The defensive end. My head was in Richard Sherman for some reason.
No, Richard Seymour.
Played primarily for
the Patriots.
Baltimore?
No.
And the Colts were the other team.
Nah. The Raiders again. I double Raiders to you. But he did make 2 Pro Bowls for the Raiders still after that. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. That sounds eerily familiar too. Okay.
Yeah, that's the last of the he played there.
That was fucking awesome. Let's go.
All right, and then this is also homegrown research.
You're giving me good. By the way, you're giving me good influence on the quiz next week. You better pack your lunch.
Well, I was gonna say to you because I'm showing you how much research I put into it. Don't just go for an article. Take them and write them down so you can put a check mark. Because I said the Giants last week, and then you're like, you didn't say it. I watched it back. I said the Nuggets, and you're like, you didn't say it. Cause it's hard to keep track when you're not putting a check.
You're looking at 20 to 30 people on a list.
Yeah. Just write it down. And when I answer, you can put a little check mark emoji next to it. I'm
gonna also just build these custom quizzes. I like this more.
Yeah. So NBA MVPs, SGA obviously is one. That went to college in the United States, no foreigners. The last 15 guys. I'll give you the player. You tell me where they went to college.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
This is going to be hard. Yeah.
SGA.
Kentucky.
Correct. Joel Embiid.
Kentucky.
No.
Kansas. Sorry.
Correct.
Sorry.
James Harden. I expect a good percentage here.
Arizona State? Arizona State?
Yeah, James Harden went to Arizona State, correct.
Okay.
I'm expecting pretty close to everything here.
I hope.
Russell Westbrook.
UCLA.
There you go. Steph Curry.
Davidson.
Kevin Durant.
Texas.
Derrick Rose.
Memphis.
Yes. Steve Nash.
I know this.
He's from Canada, but he went to
No. I got it.
I mean, so is SGA, I guess. So.
Yeah. It's not it's like UNLV or something like that. Not UNLV or something of Santa Clara. Santa Clara
is correct.
I knew it was something like what the fuck? I had that. Damn. Okay. Santa Clara. Yeah.
No, you got it. You didn't.
I worked through it. I appreciate you. Let me do my math problem in my head. Yeah.
Tim Duncan.
Wake Forest.
Correct. Allen Iverson.
Georgetown.
Chat.
LSU.
Karl Malone.
You're right. You said it the right way. That's a tough one. Karl Malone. Where did he go to college? I'm going to say LSU again.
No.
I don't know.
Don't give up. Try.
I'm thinking. The only other one that came to my head is like. Where though? You see him with a little bit of his hair and that beard. You'll see him.
10 seconds.
The only other team that came to my brain for him was Utah. Like not the team Utah, but like universe, like Utah. Like
Utah.
Yeah.
Nah, close. You said LSU. That's why I gave you more time. It's Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech.
In the vein. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. You're close. That's why I was like, don't give up. Michael Jordan.
North Carolina.
David Robinson.
Is he Georgetown also?
It's not Georgetown. I'll give you a few more seconds.
And then the other one is like Army.
Give you a few more seconds.
Navy. I don't know.
Yes, the Admiral. Navy.
Okay,
the Admiral.
Navy?
Yes, Navy. The Admiral. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's funny? As soon as I said Georgetown, because I was thinking the three centers, obviously Patrick, you think about Alonzo and the guys that went to Georgetown, whatever. And I was thinking, I was like, is he one of those guys? I was like, wait. He's the Admiral. So then he went to Army. And then you're like, I'll give you another. I was like, oh, shit, Navy? Like,
yeah. I'll give you that. I'll give you that one. And then Hakeem Olajuwon. Last one.
Ooh. University of Houston.
Yep. We talked about on a recent podcast how him and Drexler won at Houston and then won in Houston in NBA.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Drexler and him were teammates.
It was like hitting me inside my face. Like, just say it. Like,
we talked about it on like a recent podcast.
I know, but still, like within, like you said, within the quiz, it's all good.
No, you get quiz break. No, that was good. That's what I expected. I thought maybe
Karl Malone fucked up.
I thought Karl Malone and Steve Nash were the ones I was like he might not get. I expected you to get the rest. So you did better than you went better than like I thought. I was like 13 out of 15 is acceptable.
I love it.
A little dicey with the David Robinson, but we'll include it.
That Admiral shit. Yeah.
When you said UNLV for Steve Nash, I was like, oh, he's fucked. You battled back. That was impressive. All right, let's go back to the questions. Knock those out quick. Hang on, gotta find it.
I want to hear your thoughts on some of my thoughts.
The greatest right-handed hitter of our lifetime. A-Rod's a great answer. The reason I brought it up because I'm like Judge is entering that category of maybe the greatest. If he hits,
A-Rod's got the ring though. A-Rod's got the ring, and it was on his back too.
And there's a lot of time, but I'm just saying like pure hitter. Aaron Judge, like, if he has another because I don't think he's going to finish 390 or 380. I think, but even if he goes all the way down to like 350 with like 50 home runs, like it's just ridiculous. The batting, I never anticipated the batting average being what it was last year. The other
at
MVP
any point
year.
In his career, early on, everyone thought he was like a slug guy. To get 50 home runs his rookie year, he was batting 280. They were like, we'll never do better than that. That was always the conversation. He'll never do better than 280 his rookie year.
The fact you said 280 is funny because I would be like, if he did like hit the way he hit, and was a 275, 400 on base guy, he's still a Hall of Fame, trajectory player. And he's like hitting 330 and getting on base like 440. It's insane. But I don't know. Like, I'm not saying he's better than A-Rod, but that's just what imported the question into my mind.
Other names just to like,
I like Manny Ramirez.
I just was going to say him. I was going to say him next.
Manny Ramirez was a pure ass hitter.
It's hard to argue Manny. It's just like C-ball, hit ball, and then Miguel Cabrera was the other one I thought of too. And then Albert Pujols, another guy I thought
Pujols was another, I had Manny and Pujols and Judge are like the three that I had.
Those are all guys that like you could just like if you said those names, we're not going to fight basically.
Chili's or Applebee's? You're like a triple dipper over the 2 for $26 guy.
And Chili's really won me because their location in Puerto Rico, while Christy and I lived there, was excellent as well, and that speaks volumes about their as a franchise, like even being good in Puerto Rico, even like straight up and down. So,
and I think Chili's does better like margaritas and just like drink deals,
the specials and stuff like that for happy hour and all that shit. And also in front of the movie theater where we went to Palisade Center, what was the place right there that everyone went to?
There wasn't a lot of Applebee's while we grew up, but I've lived in a lot of places since then, and I've learned to like Applebee's. I think their boneless swing sauces are good and
underrated. The Suffern location my family and I used to went to when I lived in Pomona when I was a young kid, and sometimes in Airmont, that one that's like right off the exit 13, whatever it was.
That was the close, but still, that was like 20 minutes from us. That was like the closest one.
Super deep for people that live parts down south, I'm sure, but like that was the Applebee's I knew growing up, though.
Yeah. I never went there. I didn't eat Applebee's till like college.
My doctor was a minute away from there, so like a thing. My mom would take me to the doctor and Applebee's across the street.
But they make solid burgers, solid bar food. Applebee's solid, but I think Chili's. I agree. Who's your favorite player currently in the Stanley Cup Finals? You went chalky, but there's nothing really wrong with that. He's so fun to watch when he gets on a breakaway or just starts doing his thing.
And Drysdale too. Like, I mean, that game-winning goal was unbelievable. He's unbelievable too. Like, he would be.
I mean, that goal wasn't that crazy.
It was nice. Like, it was just like kind of like it was like
just hit a defender and went through Bob's legs. It wasn't. It was just forcing one. It was an ugly, gritty goal. That was the third time he's 5-holed him in the series. They said. But it wasn't, like I said, I think he might have been trying to pass that back to Perry. It just went off the Florida defender. Like, it was an ugly goal.
He's a position guy. Drysdale's always in the right spot, it feels like. He's one of those guys.
I like Corey Perry. He's 40 years old, fucking, out there still grinding. I like Marchand. He's a rat. Stan Bennett is starting to. I used to think Stan Bennett was an asshole, but I kind of like him now.
Yeah, Stan Bennett's an asshole. Kachuk's an asshole too. Kachuk's like a huge MAGA. Like,
I love Sasha Barkov too. I can't lie.
Yeah, and Bobrovsky. Yeah, like, Bob is amazing.
Barkov was there when Yager was like having that last run in Florida, and I think like that other Russian.
Barkov now he's in high 30s.
Maybe like mid-30s. Yager played forever, dude. That was like when he was on the Panthers was like pretty late. Like 44? He was like 50. Yeah, he was like he was late 40s for sure.
I saw him on the program. I think he was doing like the pregame or something, or postgame. I thought I saw him talking to Gretzky.
Oh, on TNT? Maybe he like
something like that, or maybe during the, I think on the ESPN even or something. I saw them talking.
Well, Gretzky's on TNT. With
so then was Yager on TNT with him then,
Yeah.
I guess I'm on for a special guest. Maybe it was after game 2 or game 3, but it was cool watching them talk to each other.
But you could see a little bit of Yager in like Barkov, like just like the two-way, player. Just like apparently they used to like train together when Barkov was really young and he was still hanging around.
They're both net-to-net players, just like amazing.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep it moving. I was trying to look something up. My phone's bugging. The Mask or Ace Ventura, Pet Detective? I thought you were going to come over to my side when you said Cameron Diaz. Because I was like, Cameron Diaz in The Mask.
Cameron Diaz in the 90s.
Was a sight to behold, if you will.
Yeah, a goat. So, I don't know. I mean, I was just going – I went back to Jim Carrey. Like, that's where I landed every time. And then when you think about those Ace Ventura, the lines, it's just the quotables and how the courtroom scenes, it's ridiculous in Ace Ventura. It gets crazy. So, and the whole thing with the dolphin, like the whole series, like I always loved Ace Ventura, and I always had I think Courtney Cox actually in her prime clears Cameron Diaz. Your thoughts on that?
Definitely not. I'm a Courtney Cox fan, but
prime
the mask
Cameron Diaz versus
the mask Cameron Diaz versus the Ace Ventura Courtney Cox isn't even close.
Put up a poll. We need a poll in our boys chat. Put it up. We need to put up a poll.
You can put it on the Instagram or something.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite player in the NBA Finals currently? You went with Isaiah Hartenstein, I guess, just because he's a former Knick. I
love watching him do all the dirty work and just fucking set picks and get offensive rebounds and just running up and down the court. Just fucking, he's cool. I like Jalen Williams. I do when he's cooking. He's fun to watch.
I wrote down Siakam. I really like Pascal Siakam. I think he's a really super underrated player. I think he's really fucking good. I think he meant a lot to. I like TJ too. I think Siakam meant a lot to that Raptors final. Like the more I watch him now, I'm like, oh yeah, like you all look at that like Kawhi did it on his own.
Siakam was the second best player on a championship team. That's
absolutely.
The way you put it. That's the only way to put it. Yeah.
No question. fucking, who else was there? Like Bizback Biombo or some shit. Fuck
Yeah,
that.
they had OG, but he was super young with the dreads.
Yeah, he was still
And they
young
had
then.
Fred Van Fleet.
Yeah.
And Danny Green was
Kyle Lowry, like
Danny
he was
Green.
easily the next best
They had
player.
the lurches of the league. Danny Green and Kyle Lowry on the same team. Both of them are dinosaur-armed assholes.
All right, The Wire or The Sopranos. I tend to agree with you. The Wire is great, but it's not as like watchable in short
Yeah, you can't
stints.
rewatch it.
Who's your favorite boxer of all time? Lennox Lewis is a cool answer. Haven't heard his name in a long time. He was really popular when we were younger. British dude. I was a big Arturo Gotti guy. Mickey Ward, those little guys who used to get it in.
Evander was sick, really good.
Of course, you can't go wrong with Muhammad Ali, something like that.
Sugar Ray Leonard was great.
Yep.
Obviously, Floyd was unbelievable. Watching Floyd, he really was an artist on defense. Even though he was a boxer,
yeah.
he's still an incredible boxer. Can't take anything away from him.
Not my favorite though.
When we were
He's
kids,
the greatest.
no, when we were kids, boxing was the best, dude. Like growing into high school, like there used to be a time where boxing was awesome, like legit.
I Canelo I used to like more, but
Canelo.
he not as much anymore. But he was one of my favorites. All right, Mobb Deep or Simon and Garfunkel? I think I'd have to go Simon and Garfunkel here. I love Mobb Deep. Shook Ones is a classic. Quiet Storm. They got some great things, but I don't know. I think just like you said, Paul Simon is such a heavy hitter.
My favorite song between the two is "The Only Living Boy in New York" by Simon and Garfunkel. So if you want, that's why like it was so hard for me because my favorite song between these two artists is that. But I mean, the album, like you said, with the first of your ending and all that, it's just like that first song. Let me see if I even have it on my iTunes. I can play it for us on here. I don't even care. I'll take it. Like whatever.
Nah, don't play it. Let's not play it. Then you said Victor Hovland is going to win the U.S. Open. He's currently -1 through 10. The leader is Spawn still -3, and Burns at -3, and Ortiz is also -1. So he's right there, tied for third. In the hunt. I like that pick. I picked him to win the Masters as a bet like 30-1. I should have picked him to win this too.
The album that everyone needs to listen to if we're talking about Mobb Deep, though, if anybody thinks that conversation is not for debate, listen to The Infamous. It's one of the best rap albums ever made. And the start of your ending, the first song is Lore. I don't know how else to put it. It's just like absolutely classic. Eye for Eye with Nas is a classic, and Raekwon is on that, I believe, as well. I mean, this whole album is just ridiculous. Cradle of the Great, like you said, the Shook Ones Part 2. Just all of it ridiculous.
And then we have Sandler or Farley. You went with Adam Sandler. Said you're a little too young for Chris Farley. Did you not grow up watching Tommy Boy or Black Sheep? Yeah, you got to see Tommy Boy.
I saw that later on in my life, but like the lore stuff when I was young.
Oh, you saw Tommy Boy, but you've seen Tommy Boy?
Yeah,
Tommy Boy is better than any movie Adam Sandler ever put out, for sure.
Oof.
Absolutely.
Gilmore, Billy Madison, Big Daddy, everything.
Tommy Boy is the one.
I don't know. That might be a biased take.
I like Black Sheep. I like Beverly Hills Ninja.
Black Sheep doesn't touch all those three movies I just said.
You've never seen Black Sheep.
I don't have to. There's no way. The way you're saying it, there's no way.
You don't even know Black Sheep. Beverly Hills Ninja, Almost Heroes with him and Matthew Perry.
It's a great movie. I've seen Chris Farley. He's very funny.
Have you ever seen Almost Heroes with him and Matthew Perry? That was Chris Farley's last movie. Very funny movie.
No, I don't think
They play Lewis and Clark.
Too. I like Matthew Perry.
Or no, they don't play Lewis and Clark. They're basically Bartholomew and Hunt. They're racing to like chart the Americas against Lewis and Clark.
Matthew Perry, the Chandler, you're saying?
Yeah, Matthew Perry, Chandler, and Chris Farley.
That's a funny duo between him and Chris
Farley. Very funny movie. Very funny movie. Almost Heroes.
What's it called again?
Almost Heroes.
Almost Heroes. All right.
Phenomenal film.
I know. Chris Farley, a legend. Rest in peace to a legend.
Great flick. Not a phenomenal film. That's too pretentious. Great flick, I should say.
That's fair. All of Adam Sandler movies are, sit in a certain like a B+, A- realm.
That's where you lose me, because you said the word all when the vast majority of his past 20 years of filmmaking have been dog shit. Jack and Jill. That's my boy. Grown Ups.
His good stuff is very good. His bad stuff is awful.
Murder Mystery 2.
All the shit with James and like Rock and those stupid movies, whatever.
Yeah, that's what I said. Grown Ups 2.
Grown-Ups,
All that shit
terrible.
sucks.
Yeah, all those. Terrible.
But to be fair, the run of from let's say starting with the
Billy Madison through Happy Gilmore to
and then
Big
you get
Daddy,
to Big
Mr.
Daddy,
Deeds,
Little
crazy.
Nicky,
Little
Mr.
Nicky,
Deeds.
8 Crazy Nights. It gets crazy.
I think the one that probably was the last of that was like The Longest Yard. Everything after that was dog shit.
Yeah, The Longest
Yeah,
Yard was
that's
like Drake's his plateau album. That's like what The Longest Yard movie is, like a plateau movie, and it's like
Chris Farley didn't live long enough to make dog shit.
Yeah, Chris Farley didn't have a plateau. Exactly, he only made lore and then left. Essentially, I got you. Good take.
All right. I love it. That was a good episode. That was fun.
Fuck yeah. But we'll be back next week for sure. I'll have a quiz ready for John that's going to be custom made, and we'll see how he does. But, keep it locked. By the way, who do you have? The last thing before we leave, I don't think we went through this. Who do you have for the Stanley Cup?
I'm still going Panthers. I think they're just a better team.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to agree. I think they have the better goalie. They have the home ice. They don't have home ice, though.
No, they don't.
So we'll see what happens, but
it is fun to be 2-2 in the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, it could have been last year. No, I know it wasn't last year because the Panthers were up 3-0. But it could be very recently, but it doesn't feel like it happens all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think someone upstairs is throwing us a bone considering where the world is right now. So we'll take it, and we'll enjoy it. We'll enjoy it, and we'll keep to ourselves and see what happens here. But score 26. We like
Later, alligators.
Peace.